for some of our guests. It is Erev Shabbat. Let's get ready for Shabbat. Where's Yogev? I need Yogev. There he is. Boaz. Your birthday?
Where are you on?
Let's see if we know the words. We can help him out. It's not loud enough. It's not working. Here we go.
Just make sure you're calling
Nick?
so I know, please.
Hello? 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 Yeah. Thank you, Yogev. Happy birthday, Boaz. It is Erev Shabbat Kodesh. I need everyone's help. Congressman Torres, Israel's Consul General Aviv, we are so honored to have you here with us. As I told you both, we have been gathering on these steps every single morning since October 9th, since Monday, October 9th, to start our day with a few moments of prayer for Medinat Yisrael, to connect with our Chayalim, to pray for everyone's safe return home, to celebrate on Hanukkah for those who were not able to celebrate with their families. And we moved the time today to be here for a special announcement that we're celebrating in this district. I had to say thank you to our congressman for making that happen, which you'll understand in a couple of moments. But let's open, as we always do, with a parak of Tehillim together. Thank you.
Shir HaMa'alot Mima'amakim Krasicha Adonai Adonai Shema B'Koli Tiana Aznecha Kashuva Sekol Tachnuna Mima'avonos Tishmarya Adonai Miyamo Imcha Haslicha Lama Tivareh Kivisi Adonai Kivsa Nafshi V'Lidbaro Chalti נפשי לאדוני משומרים לבוקר, שומרים לבוקר. יחיה ישראל אל אדוני, כי עם אדוני החסד והרבה עמו פדות. והוא יפדס ישראל מכל עוונותיו.
מי שברך לחיילי צה"ל, מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, הוא יברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל העומדים על משמר ארצנו וערי אלוהינו מגבול הלבנון ועד מדבר מצרים ומן הים הגדול עד לבוא הערבה, ביבשה, באוויר ובים. ייתן אדוני את אויבינו הקמים עלינו ניגפים לפניהם. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור ויציל את חיילינו מכל צרה וצוקה ומכל נגע ומחלה, וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם. ידבר שונאינו תחתיהם ויעטרם בכתר ישועה ובעטרת ניצחון, ויקוים בהם הכתוב, כי אדוני אלוהיכם ההולך עמכם, להילחם לכם עם אויביכם, להושיע אתכם. ונאמר אמן.
I ask our Consul General Aviv to bring greetings from the Didat Yisrael for this very special occasion.
Thank you very much, Rabbi. Shalom, everybody. I heard from the Rabbi that you are fluent in Hebrew, so I'm going to make my short remarks in Hebrew. How about that? All in favor say aye. All against say nay. 50-50, Congressman. Okay, I'll do it in Hebrewish, which means a combination of Hebrew and English. So first of all, I represent the Israeli consulate to New York, and I have the honor on coming here today to represent the state of Israel, the government of Israel, the people of Israel, in first and foremost bringing greetings on behalf of the state of Israel. I just came back 2 days ago from Israel, and I have my children, which are your ages, and I have to tell you that when I came now back from Israel, and when I've seen what is happening back in Israel after the atrocities of October 7th, I know that the feelings in Israel are very gloomy, and we are in the midst of the war in defending ourselves and in making sure that our hostages will come back home. And I saw many of you are holding this dog tag, and we will make sure that they'll all come back home safely, and we will make sure to eradicate Hamas. But I can tell you this, there are three things that Hamas miscalculated big time when they came after Israelis and when they came after Jews. The first is the fact that they thought that the Israelis are not united. They thought that they could come after Israel because they're not resilient enough. And they are proven wrong now, because Israel is united and resilient and will push back against any attacks that are coming towards them. That's number one. Number two, they miscalculated the fact that we have a strong mishpuche. What's a mishpuche? What's mishpacha? Family. And you guys are our mishpuche. And Rabbi, what you're doing right here in creating this mishpucha of ours is a big, big miscalculation on behalf of Hamas that do not know how much of the strength and comfort that we're receiving from you. So I want to thank you for everything that you're doing. Thank you very much. And this is the second miscalculation. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So they've miscalculated the resilience and the unity of the Jewish, of the people of Israel. They miscalculated our mishpucha. And last but not least, they have miscalculated that behind the state of Israel, there is the strongest superpower, the leader of the free world called America, standing right behind the state of Israel. And that leadership comes from voices that are pushing forward to what we call the peace avenue, which we want to pursue. And this is what Israel has been doing in the last 75 years. We have peace accords with Egypt, with Jordan, with the Gulf countries, with Morocco, and many more. And all of it will be under, of course, leadership that are coming from the United States of America, from the executive branch, of course, from the President of the United States that is strongly supporting Israel's right for self-defense, but also from the legislative branch. And today, I have to tell you that we have with us one of the most biggest advocates and strongest supporters and champions of the state of Israel, Congressman Ritchie Torres, my friend. to tell you that he has a lot on his plate. He has a lot of things that he's dealing with, but he is putting his mouth, he's putting his deeds where his mouth is, and he's making sure that the support for Israel comes in a bipartisan, bicameral way, but comes in a way that is tentative and it's tangible, and it's making a difference. So I want to thank you, Congressman, for representing the labor movement. Thank you very, very much. God bless you all. Shabbat shalom. Toda rabah.
Our congressman has been here many, many times, and he asks about you even more often. He cares about this school. He cares about every single person in his district. He cares about the state of Israel, and he is bold. He says what he believes, and he is not afraid, even when people disagree with him. We are very, very lucky to have Congressman Ritchie Torres as a great, great friend. He's going to speak to us before we conclude, as we always do, and then go into a little bit more detail this way with our student council and other representatives right afterwards when they go back to class.
Of course,
there's still some learning to be done before vacation.
Of course.
Congressman Ritchie Torres.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot speak Hebrew. I'm only going to have to speak in English, but it is such an honor to be here. I will admit that I know as a congressman I'm not supposed to have favorites, but SAR is one of my favorite schools in the Bronx. It is a special and magical place, and I hope all of you have a wonderful vacation. And it's in moments like these that we're reminded that what matters most in life is family and friendship and faith. And it's an honor to represent Riverdale and SAR in the United States Congress. And I want you to know that we're partnering closely with President Biden. We stand with the Jewish community. We stand with the state of Israel. I want you to have the peace of mind of knowing that your congressman, your president, your country, the United States, stands with both the Jewish community and the Jewish state. So Israel will live on. Am Israel High. Thank you.
משמרת אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, יוסף, משה וירון, דוד ושלמה, יברך וישמור וינצור את כל השבויים והנעדרים בעבור שלהם התלויים בעבורם. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, ויוציאם מחושך וצל מוות מוסרותיהם, ינתקם מצוקותיהם, ויושיעם וישיבם בהירה לחיק משפחותיהם, בבריאות ובשלום, ונאמר אמן.
My tweet, that's...
your classes.
Hi, my name is Ayal, and I'm an 8th grade student here at SR Academy. I want to start off by saying how proud I am to be represented by Ritchie Torres, an outspoken advocate for Israel. I want to thank you for all of your support, as it means a lot to everyone here. This week, Ritchie Torres and Mike Lawler passed a bill in the House to create a new special envoy for the Abraham Accords, to monitor, expand, and strengthen these agreements and enhance the already good work that was done. The Abraham Accords are official agreements made during the Trump administration to normalize diplomatic relations and establish peace between Israel and their Arab neighbors, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, and later Sudan and Morocco. This allows business partnerships between the nations to flourish and people to easily travel to and from with direct flights. This has led to increased trade, opportunities for further friendship and investment, and a growing sense of comfort between the nations. This historical agreement showed the world that Israel shares many common interests and goals with its Arab neighbors and instilled a renewed hope for peace in the Middle East. Following October 7th, it is more important than ever that we strengthen bonds with allies as much as we can. This friendship both comforts and reminds us that when we partner with like-minded nations, peace is possible.
Thank you for those wonderful words, and welcome everyone. It's an honor to be here at SAR. I am Congressman Ritchie Torres, and I'm proud that we're here to celebrate the creation of the Special Envoy for the Abraham Accords, which is a historic peace agreement. About a year ago, I partnered with Congressman Mike Lawler to advance bipartisan legislation, creating a special envoy for the Abraham Accords, and I'm proud to report that our bipartisan bill has been included in the National Defense Authorization Act, which has been passed by both chambers of Congress, the House and the Senate. And we know that, Riverdale is home to a vibrant Jewish community that has a deeply personal stake in the future of Israeli-Arab relations. The Abraham Accords is one of the greatest breakthroughs for Israeli-Arab peace in the history of the Middle East. As all of you know, 2023 marks the 75th anniversary of Israel's rebirth. And for most of Israel's history, the kind of Israeli-Arab peace embodied in the Abraham Accords would have been all but unthinkable. For the first half of Israel's history, there was an endless cycle of Israeli-Arab wars, right? 1948, the War of Independence, 1956, 1967, the Six-Day War, 1973, the Yom Kippur War, 1982, the war in Lebanon. And in 1967, during the Six-Day War, the Arab League famously passed the Khartoum Resolution, which is summed up in the three no's. No peace, no negotiations, no recognition. The Abraham Accords is historic because it represents a shift from war to peace. It represents a shift from rejection to recognition. It represents a shift from the three no's to the three yeses. Yes to peace with Israel, yes to negotiations with Israel, and yes to recognition of Israel. And so, the future of the Middle East is neither pro-Israel nor pro-Arab. The future of the Middle East is both pro-Israel and pro-Arab. And we are here at SAR because the students represent the future leaders of our society. Right? These students are going to fight to create a world where all the children of Abraham, Jews, Christians, and Muslims, can coexist in peace and prosperity. Right? Yours is the generation that's going to realize the Abrahamic dream and build on the foundation of the Abraham Accords. Now, I want to make a few words about October 7th. October 7th was a crime against humanity so barbaric that it cannot be ignored. It cannot go unpunished. Hamas must be brought to justice, and Hamas must be removed from power if Israeli-Arab peace is going to define the future of the Middle East. And keep in mind that there was nothing coincidental about the timing of October 7th. Israel was on the verge of making peace with Saudi Arabia. And Hamas carried out the attacks of October 7th in a sinister attempt to derail Israeli-Arab peace. Now, it is certainly the case that normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel has been delayed, but make no mistake, it will never be derailed. Right? There's no stopping the momentum of history in the direction of Israeli-Arab peace. The normalization of relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia is not a question of if, it is a question of when. And the Abraham Accords will continue to bend the long arc of the Middle East precisely where it belongs, toward peace and prosperity among Israelis and Arabs, and toward peace and prosperity among Jews, Christians, and Muslims. And so we're here. We are here to affirm that despite the profound pain of the present, the future of the Middle East, the future of our world, does not belong to war, it belongs to peace. And it does not belong to the Islamic Republic of Iran or Hezbollah or surely Hamas. It belongs to Israel and her allies in the Arab world and in the United States and beyond. Thank you for having me. And I know we've been joined by the Israeli Consul General, and I would welcome the opportunity for you to say a few words. So. Oh, okay, sure.
Just very shortly.
If you want to be associated with a politician, I don't know.
Of course, always with great politicians like you, always honored to be associated with. On behalf of the State of Israel, I want to be very clear here. The support coming from the United States towards Israel at these harsh times are crucial in an ongoing fight against radicalism. The position that this administration has made in a very clear manner immediately after October 7th atrocities, the fact that the president has arrived to Israel and the president has joined the war cabinet, and the president has not only talked the talk but walked the walk and brought over these aircraft carriers and sent the signals of don't to all of our other adversaries, including Hezbollah and of course Iran, was crucial. But on top of that, the support coming from the legislative branch, specifically from friends on the House side and the Senate side, in a bipartisan, bicameral way, is nothing short of unbelievable and crucial for Israel's continuous war against radicalism. I want to specifically mention you and Congressman Lawler in your support in bringing that message of peace against the message of war that is arriving from Iran. Your legislation, specifically with the envoy of Abraham Accords, sends that message saying peace is the answer. And as you said, peace is not just for Israel or for the Arab world, but it's both Israel and the Arab world. So I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank you for your continuous standing strongly in support of Israel's right for self-defense and Israel's duty for self-defense. And I want to send a strong message of a deep appreciation on behalf of Israel, the government of Israel, and the people of Israel. Thank you very, very much, Congressman.
Absolutely, yeah. Of course, absolutely.
I want to just say one thing directed to both of you and to our students. I want to thank both of you for deciding to have this conversation here. You know, the Consul General walked in and said, whoa, your second graders know a lot about the Abraham Accords. That's pretty impressive. And the truth is our second graders and our eighth graders know a lot about a lot, and that's what we spend time. We have wonderful, wonderful teachers here, and they're making sure that they know what's going on in the world, and we're very proud of them, and we're very proud of the faculty that we have here. But one of our biggest challenges, as you know, since October 7th is you never want kids' association with Israel, God forbid, to be negative or God forbid to be sad. We also, it's important to tell them the truth. So there's been a lot of sadness, but what you chose to do today on Erev Shabbat, what you chose to do today right before we're all going out for a holiday break, a well-deserved holiday break, is to share good news, to share hopeful, to share the words yes and yes and yes, and that's what our children are hearing, and I promise you that that's something that they will never, ever forget. So thank you for choosing to making this announcement here in your district with, as you said, the future. I'm going to actually open it up before the veteran press, maybe the local press over here has something to ask the congressman, and then we'll open it up to the rest of the crowd. Looks like you explained everything so well.
Well, I put everyone to sleep.
Any comments?
Question.
Go ahead.
Is there anything else that you're planning on doing to support Israel more?
Sure.
You haven't supported Israel much.
So one of the highest priorities of Congress is to pass security assistance for Israel, so that Israel has the ability to defend itself. And the most important component of the security assistance bill is a replenishment of Iron Dome. So Iron Dome protects civilians in Israel from rocket fire. And it's the product of the U.S.-Israel relationship, and it's been so effective that it prevents 90% of the rockets from falling into their intended targets. So there's no technology that's more life-saving in Israel than Iron Dome, and it's a priority for Congress, it's a priority for me to ensure that it's replenished and that Israeli civilians are protected.
We visited the Iron Dome together.
Yeah.
We were there last November.
Yeah.
It was an amazing thing. You have a question? Jacob.
When was the Abraham Accords made, and why is it named that?
That's a wonderful question. So, as you know, Abraham, if I'm actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but
I'm not questioning your knowledge of the Bible. You're very good.
The three of the most influential religious traditions in the world are Judaism and Christianity and Islam, and the common thread among them is Abraham. Right? Abraham is the father of those three religions. There would be no Judaism without Abraham. There would be no Christianity and Islam without Judaism. And so Abraham is a common ancestor around which we all unite and organize, and that's why we call it the Abraham Accords, to show we know our differences, but we want to underscore what brings us together, what we have in common.
Are there any other people helping with Israel on the Congress?
Whoa.
So it's a great question. So I want you to be rest assured that the majority of Congress supports Israel, because we in the United States have no greater friend in the Middle East than Israel. You know, in life, friendships matter, right? You support your friends, you have a responsibility to support your friends. What is true of individuals is also true of countries. Israel is the greatest friend that we have in the Middle East, and we have a moral obligation to support Israel in its moment of greatest need. Just like Israel supported us in our moment of greatest need after 9/11. You were not alive during 9/11, but I suspect you read about it, right?
Last question, then. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to also thank you again for all of your support. You've been very vocal and helpful to us in many different areas, in Congress, in interviews, on X, formerly known as Twitter.
He's very bright.
I know there might even have been another congresswoman who called you out for your support, but she shouldn't have done that, because I know that you're going to help keep supporting us, and I just wanted to thank you for that again.
Nice.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Now that we got the hard questions out of the way, we can open it up to the press. Julie, go ahead.
Yeah,
Julia.
I'm Julia. I work for the New York Jewish Week, which is
Pleasure.
local
Oh,
newspaper.
pleasure.
Hi,
No worries.
nice to meet you. I just want to ask why you chose SAR to come here today to talk about it pre-Shabbat. Why it's important to be here.
Look, I mean, SAR is an iconic institution. It's in fact, when about a year ago, I traveled to Israel with Benny Krause, the principal, and I felt like he was more of a household name in Israel than I was. I was a little, but you know, for me, the Abraham Accords represents the world as it could be and should be. It represents a world where the children of Abraham, Jews, Christians, and Muslims, Israelis and Arabs, come together in the service of peace and prosperity. And these students represent the Abrahamic future. These students are going to be the future leaders who are going to be fighting for the world's that is envisioned by the Abraham Accords. You're going to be living in the world that we're describing here today. I'm optimistic about the future of peace. Israel has a long history of making peace with Arab countries. It made peace with Egypt in the late 70s. It made peace with Jordan in the mid-90s. It made peace with Bahrain, the UAE, Morocco through the Abraham Accords. And it is on the verge of making peace with the largest Arab country, Saudi Arabia. And so the momentum is in the direction of peace. And that is your future, and all of you represent that future. And that's why I thought it was important to be here.
Can I ask one more question?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, how's your reception here different from, like, say, your speech last night, or when you speak at even the March for Israel, or when you speak at non-Jewish events? Like, what's changed? What's the vibe here versus other?
Look, when I'm in my district, in a place like SAR, I'm warmly received. I wish all of you were voters. No.
We are.
But the parents and teachers are. But obviously, if you are anti-Israel, then I'm considered controversial among those activists. But in life you have to fight for what you believe in, and I believe in Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state. I believe in the U.S.-Israel relationship, and I'm never going to waver from that belief. I've often many of you just celebrated Hanukkah, and what inspired Hanukkah was the Maccabean revolt. And the Maccabeans fought for the right of Jews to exist as Jews and fought for the right of the Jewish people to defend themselves against an existential threat. And all of you are fighting for the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish state and the right of Israel to defend itself against an existential threat. And it's an honor to be a righteous ally in that cause. So. Your students ask good questions.
Yeah, excellent questions. Oh, last question. We're going to close with this. Go ahead.
Cobra Kai. Oh my God, I love that show. Yeah.
Would you consider countries that attacked Israel as like a humanitarian country or state that if needed support you would participate?
Would you?
Would you consider countries that attacked Israel and they needed support? Would you protest for their support?
If a country attacked Israel.
Yeah, I feel like we have to draw a distinction between the people and the government, right? Because so I imagine you're referring to Palestinians in the Gaza Strip.
And also, like, if it was like another Arab country that
Yeah, so there are countries where I think the people want peace and prosperity, but the governments are oppressive. The governments are committing acts of terrorism. So one example is Iran, right? Iran's government is one of the most evil regimes in the world. It's the leading sponsor of terrorism in the world. But there are many Iranian people who are fighting and dying for their freedom. Iran was home to the largest feminist revolution, Women's March in history. There are Iranian women who are standing up to the corruption of the Iranian regime and fighting and dying for freedom. And so my heart goes out to those people. But so I draw a distinction between the government and the people. If governments are committing acts of terror, we have to hold those governments accountable.
You would not protest for your support?
We do not. The Abraham Accords is about bringing together governments that want peace and prosperity. But if you're committing terrorism, you're going to be held accountable. If an individual commits a crime, you're going to go to prison, you're going to be held accountable. And if you're a government that commits acts of terrorism and barbarism, like Hamas or Hezbollah or the Islamic Republic of Iran, you will be held accountable. I mean, that's what justice looks like.
Thank you for taking the time. Sure. Thank you for your great questions. Thank you, Medinat Israel, for
no one had tough questions for the Israeli consulate.
Shabbat Shalom.
This is like the Knesset, right?
And we can say, how many bills were passed this year? 27, 20, something like that. So it's just like.
Well, I passed 2 bills and I'm on the verge of passing a third. So.
Okay, so we're about 10% of the bills passed in Congress. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you.